We've hired two people on our staff, and this was really important. Billy Donovan and myself both went through the same thing this year, which is the first time it's happened to me in 30 years. I would say it's probably the first time it's happened to him, where three people leave our staff. We're really happy, obviously, for Steve Masiello. We're moving Mark Liebman into the out position, so we have three people we have to fill. And basically what I did was I said to my son, look, go out, and I gave him the criteria of what I wanted, talk to everybody in the business, and give me the 5 best names for this criteria. And he did that, and the one person who stuck out more than anybody so far, and there were a lot of great candidates, was King Jones. And he had to deal with the grassroots situation at Nike and deal with, I think, 50 teams, Kenny, was it? 45 teams. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, the whole country. And we have spoken to everybody from George Raveling on. He worked at Pepperdine, worked at New Mexico, where they had an outstanding recruiting class due to his great efforts. So the number one criteria for anything is obviously we're going to hire 3 people who, more than anything else, the common denominator is their ability in recruiting. And the other parts that in our system we will have to teach, but that was the most important thing, was the ability to recruit nationally. Not East Coast, not in the South, but every place. And he's got great ties to the West Coast because that's where he worked, but because of his Nike involvements, he has it all over the country. So we're very excited to have him part of our staff. He has outstanding maturity. He was a very good player himself, works well with big men, and we're excited to have him. Richard was essential. There's only 2 choices that we could possibly make, and Richard was one of those. And to bring him back, obviously as associate coach, to replace Steve Masiello, with our preparation, our scouting, was crucial. Because bringing in 3 new guys who may not be able to do the scouting, we don't know or not. Some people are ready for it right away, some people aren't. Was crucial to being the point man in all of this. So we're excited to have a new father. We had a baby girl yesterday, and we're excited to have both of these guys with our staff. And they're going to be working with me because I can't make up my mind on the 3rd person. It's been a 4 or 5 candidates that are all like equal. They're all great, and I'm going to get them to join in and come to a conclusion of who we want to be part of this staff. And the one thing we're going to try to do with this staff is, like Tim Fuller was the point man in recruiting last year, Steve was the point in scouting. It's not going to be that way. It's going to be all 3 guys going to hit the road running. We had an outstanding top 10 recruiting class last year. We want to come back with another top 10 recruiting class this year, and we want all 3 guys to be able to do that.
How soon do you?
So we can make up our minds.
How different is this process been for you? It seems like maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, it was important to get a guy who, maybe like a Tubby, like Neil, who was just a step away from being a head coach. But now it seems like it's,
Well, the one thing I told Richard as well as King, that look, I'm not interested in you guys becoming head coaches. I said it's obvious. I've said it many times that we hire future head coaches, not assistant coaches, and that's true. But I don't want to hear you guys even talk about head coaching now. All I want to hear you talk about is how we can bring Louisville to where we want to go. That's it. And I said, if you don't have that in mind, then don't take this job. Both guys have agreed to that. They will sign, obviously, 2-year contracts to this. And I think that's the fair number. And then we'll move forward from there.
How difficult is this thing for you, having a whole new staff, having to break in a whole new staff all over Richard for you before? What was it involved for you?
Well, with us, preparation is what we feel. Obviously, the players are the most important thing with any program, but then obviously your game plan especially with us, is very detailed. Some of my assistants picked it up right away. Some it took 5 years before they mastered it. I mean, Stevie Mass struggled in the beginning, and then he became one of the best I've had. So, very difficult to pick up. And we couldn't have 3 new guys. We would have no preparation. So, it's great to have Richard back in it. It takes a load off us, pressure-wise.
When he first left, did you envision a scenario where he'd come back, especially this soon?
No, I actually thought he was going to be a head coach this year. He was in the final 2 for a job, and it was a toss-up whether he'd get it or not, and he didn't get it. And I told him something better would come along, and it did.
What is Ralph Willard's situation?
He's going to he's just going to look at a variety of things. I would, if I had a venture to say, he probably would dabble on a lot of things, but it probably will take a jump with pro scouting.
Definitely won't be with you this coming.
No, he won't be with us. He'll be with the team that's coming in here to be a professional team.
Speaking of the NBA, what kind of feedback have you got about Terrence Jennings at this point? What's that process?
You know, he's going to put his hat in the ring, and you know, I always plan on these things after the Samato samples. He's not coming back, even though he has. That's my thing. You know, we are very strong at that position, and my thinking is not coming back, and that's the way I look at it. We have, you know, we've got something like 17 players going to come back on this basketball team, and 16 is not bad, and we've got 2 outstanding 5 men in Gorky Zhang and Zach Price, so we're fine with that. And if another young man wants to come join that, that's fine as well.
Yeah, it surprised you. I guess there's really no downside, is there? As long as he doesn't sign with an agent, what's the hurt to?
Like I said, Russ, as far as I'm concerned, he's not coming back. That's the way I'm looking at it. You know, last time I said that with Samato, I said, no, don't worry about it. That's the way I look at all these situations. You know, anytime somebody wants something, let them go for it. And you know, if they don't, they move on to something else.
What was your last conversation with him like then? I mean, with Terrence, did you get the gist that you wanted to stay in the?
You know, it's what I did was what I do with all players is they're under such constraints right now because their window, if they have until May 8th, is I emailed every general manager and player personnel director telling them their desire and if they're interested to contact me.
When you start, and maybe you already have preparations for the Puerto Rico thing,
Well, that's something that we have another problem. It's being worked out right now. What's going to become of it, I don't know. I was really looking forward to that, as much as anything. I was really anxious to coach that team. But unfortunately, the waiver, the appeal process that we went through, we thought would pass and it got rejected. Going into this, Puerto Rico, as well as they did not know the NCAA rules, and although it's in the book, we did not know that Puerto Rico is considered part of the United States. We knew that from a political standpoint, but we did not know that. What's the difference from a foreign trip between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic? Right? We thought that's the same. It's a foreign trip. And one of the reasons why we took that job was for University of Louisville to compete against the national team. And then they said, you can't do that. So not only could we not go to Puerto Rico for our foreign trip, we can't compete against the national team. So it's almost impossible for me to do both. And so we worked it out where I could do both, but then another monkey wrench was thrown in. The tournament that was held in Puerto Rico prior to Argentina was now moved to Brazil. And the date was changed where I wouldn't be here when the students arrived, the players arrived. So it's a big mess, and we're going to work it out this afternoon, and I don't know what's going to become of it. We thought we were going to win this appeal and get a waiver to do it, and I was shocked when it came back not in our favor.
So
Just, yeah.
but basically you're thinking you're not going to coach the team?
There's a possibility I won't be coaching. We have a
Puerto Rico team, I mean.
Yes. No, I decided to coach the Puerto Rico team and give up my UL job. So we're going to work it out this afternoon and see what can become of it, but it's it would take me away from I can't miss the first week of class. Now, we are making a foreign trip. We are going to the Bahamas. We are going to play against the Bahamian national team and a couple of professional teams. We will do that in August, and I'm excited about that trip.